Well, I already anticipated coming here, that there was a lot to learn. Jonathan has tremendous amount of experience and knowledge. So figuring this was a 2-day seminar, I'm sure there was a lot to learn, a lot to take in. And there was a lot of amazing things, tidbits that he just kind of brought out to everybody. And it was just very eye-opening. Just a tremendous amount of knowledge he has. Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, I have, I don't know, 7-8 years experience flipping houses. I mean, I started off as a landlord, and then I got into flipping houses, and that was a nightmare. My very first house, I mean, we just basically gutted the whole house. I didn't even know what I was doing, but I have a pretty good project management mindset, so I followed my guts, my instincts. But like everything else, you trip along the way, you make a lot of mistakes. You hire people incorrectly, you put faith and trust into people that you think they're gonna do right by you, and then they totally screw you. And then when I first learned about Jonathan and his meetups and so on, and his experience and knowledge, I mean, you're just looking at somebody who's been doing this for so long, and he's been there and he's done that, and he's had every bump and bruise and everything you can go through. Tremendous amount of knowledge. So there's so much to learn from someone like that who has the experience. I think, like Tony Robbins once said, if you want to get someplace quicker, then you mentor with someone who has already been there and done that. That's how you're going to, gap that bridge, if you will. Well, yeah, I think honestly, coming here, my primary goal was just learning how to manage contractors better, the scope of work, more efficiently. That's really huge. I mean, finding properties, it's difficult, but believe it or not, it's easier than it is once you've got the project and you're hands-on with it and you're working with contractors. It's a whole different ball game, a whole different animal, and they can truly kill all your profits. So for me, my takeaway coming here was to see how I can get some knowledge more about how Jonathan handles his contractors. He's got a whole curriculum on how to work with the right kind of contractors and the right way to go about working with them and interacting with them. Yeah, yesterday, so he mentioned something like that, just blew my mind, where he talked about, and I don't remember the exact name of it, but he talked about how he purchased a property in East Brunswick, I think it was. And what he did was he went down to the planning board and he went through all the steps, right, with zoning and the planning and construction and all that he had to do to get that piece of property, I think, prepped and positioned so that he could sell it to an investor and made a crazy amount of money, or a builder, so they could convert it from that lot with a 2-family onto a huge commercial building. That just blew my mind. Yeah, I mean, honestly, whether you're a beginner or you're experienced, Jonathan just has a different approach from any other meetups. I mean, I go to a lot of meetups as well, and he has just a completely different approach. He's very passionate. He's compassionate, has a lot of empathy. He genuinely wants to work with people. He doesn't give you all kinds of bullshit. I'm sorry if I can say that or not, but he doesn't give you just a lot of fluff. It's just, he tells you straight like it is. He wants you to learn. He has a genuine interest in your success as well. And he's just so much, tremendous amount of knowledge. I've never heard of anybody who has his kind of knowledge. And like I said to him yesterday, I said, did some of this stuff, did you learn on your own, or did you mentor? And he goes, no, I'm a nerd. I just dive in, I read so much. And I have a lot of admiration for that because, he just has such a wealth of knowledge from a wide perspective, not just, the cookie cutter, you do this and you do this and you do this. It's very broad how he speaks. And he does things that are, out of the box, so to speak, which I think is, it's creative. And that's also another way of, creating success, by being creative, by doing things differently. And if you kind of stumble along the way, there's ways that you can figure out how to get out of it, how you can make something happen, how you can turn the lemon into lemonade, so to speak, instead of just throw your hands up and walk away, as well as minimizing your losses. So that's also important too. Jonathan brings a lot of content, and that's also interesting, right? Because when you can walk away with knowledge and you're like, this sounds great, this person sounds great, The information sounds great. I'm excited. I want more. I think that's a whole different level than you go to a meetup and you just hear people talk, talk, talk. It's the same mundane conversation. So I think that's what really separates Jonathan from other speakers.